of years ago, I was part of an ordination that took place at Community Baptist. It was Dr. Lester Taylor's church, but there was a gathering of people from various traditions, various other churches. And the person who was being ordained and setting up the service thought it was appropriate that I would actually introduce him. And it was the awkward situation where I was introducing him from his own pulpit. And I think it was probably the first time he ever got introduced inside of his own pulpit. So tonight we're not in your pulpit, we're over here, and it's a little bit more appropriate. Vernon Daughtry was a much-loved director of alumni affairs here who really fought to get the alumni on our agenda to make sure we recognize the work they were doing as the seminary developed and as we grew, and was really the person who put an emphasis on having a distinguished alumni award. We had given one, but it was really Vernon who put that forward. We do have some other recipients. Patrick Dugan is here tonight. Dugan was a recipient in the past. We've had an outstanding run of...
Rice.
And Calvin Rice. Calvin Rice. Glad to see you back. Anybody else I missed? No, we're quick. Okay. It is given somebody who really has made an impact in ministry, and it's really a lifting up by the alumni themselves. And there isn't anybody, even with all the distinguished people here, we've added a distinguished name tonight, Dr. Lester Taylor, who I think if you get a couple more awards will probably have earned everything that we have to give. He was the president's of the award, the recipient of the President's Award when he graduated in 1999. I had him in class, fierce intellectual with a heart for the church and an unwillingness to compromise, and a clarity about ministry and calling that really has guided him through the years. The first time I went out to preach in his church, I didn't know they'd torn the building down. And I got there in an empty hole in the ground on Sunday morning about an hour before the church. And I went over to a bar that was open. It was the only thing in the neighborhood. And they said, oh yeah, everybody knows that church. They're down here. And I got the right directions and got there. People know Community Baptist Church, and they know what its ministry is about. He's been there for some years. He built a new building. He's raised up an extraordinary community presence. He has been not only a recipient of the MDiv here, but as Doctor of Ministry from Palmer Theological Seminary. He's gone on into national leadership, first with the General Baptist Convention of New Jersey, and now I believe you're a vice president of National Baptist.
On board of directors.
On the board of directors of the National Baptist Convention. Is an extraordinary leader of national repute, preached all over the place, most recently at Convent for the Baptist Ministers Conference. The embers are still glowing as we speak. It is really my honor and pleasure to be able to give this award to the Reverend Dr. Lester W. Taylor, Jr. for the distinguished alumni. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I am humbled tonight to have this great honor to receive this award from an institution that literally changed my life and changed my ministry. I was able to kind of duck that supervised ministry. And that's because I was pastoring when I came to NYTS. And so when I spoke to Dr. Eleanor Moody Shepherd, I said, I can't leave my pulpit to go to another church. So she required that I do some things while staying in my pulpit. So I had to visit some Seventh-day Adventist churches on Saturdays. I had to do some other unique things. But when I got to NYTS, and of course Dr. Irving was one of my professors along with Dr. Alfaro. Oh yeah. Minka, anybody remember Minka? Minka, you know, I didn't know what to think. But they said this to me, we're not going to tell you what to believe, but we're going to ask you, how does what you believe impact the people in your community? And through my time spent here at NYTS, I began to reshape the philosophy of ministry that I embraced so that my ministry could reach beyond the walls.
Amen. Amen.
There's so much more that's running through my mind right now, but I can tell you that wherever I go, NYTS goes with me.
Amen.
And I am a proud alumni of New York Theological Seminary. I've sent some of my preachers through here. I paid for them to come. I told them, if you go to seminary, I'll pay for it.
Amen.
Because I want you to get training, and I want you to get it from NYTS. Then I became a site supervisor, and Janelle did his supervised ministry at Community Baptist Church. I also worked with Drew and in New Brunswick and do supervised ministries with those, but I celebrate NYTS. So Dr. C. Vernon Mason, Dr. Rice, brothers I've looked up to, my partner, classmates, I thank you for this great honor.
Amen.
Blessings.
Amen.